Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about insecurities surrounding personality. I'm going to share two journal entries from my past from when I was 19 years old. I think they both do a pretty good job of representing what my insecurity really was. The first entry, July 19th, 2013, I feel pressure. I'm scared of people seeing me as someone who doesn't care. I'm scared that people will be disappointed in me. I'm scared that I won't do a good job. Why do I care so much about what people think about me? I feel so fake every time I do something to purposely impress people around me. It happens so much. I want to be truly confident so that I have no need for others to think that I'm so great. January 29th, 2014. I'm constantly reminded how weak and bad I am. I've completely failed to care for my best friend, and now all she can see are my bad qualities. I feel so much fear and shame. All I want to do is hide under a rock. I hate when people see my bad qualities. I hate when they judge me because I want to look so perfect, like I'm this kind person who has it all together. And when people see through that, I break down. I can't even function properly. I'm tired of being like this. I was so self-aware at 19, and yet here I am like 7 years later, and I haven't gotten over my insecurity. It's just gotten to the point where I have so much social anxiety because I'm constantly worried about how I'm coming off to other people or how I am being perceived. When I was younger, I was pretty shy and awkward, and I really didn't know how to have conversations with strangers or with friends even, and as I got older, around like college age, I started learning the art of asking questions and how simply being curious and asking someone a question and follow-up questions really helps keep the conversation going. That was like a life-changing lesson for me, and it's really helped me to build so many solid relationships and interactions with people. But I guess the drawback of that for me was because I now knew the tools to hold a good conversation, I started putting a lot of pressure on myself to be that person that's like the best conversationalist and the best friend that someone can interact with. That's why I have a lot of social anxiety when it comes to like family gatherings and parties and church events and just places where I have to interact with people, because prior to that, I'm already bracing myself for all the energy and the enthusiasm that I'm gonna have to exude in order to be that type of person that I expect myself to be in that group setting. Like if you and I met for the first time at a party, maybe your friend introduced you to me, you already know I'd be like, how do you know this friend? Or do you know anyone else here? What brought you to Seattle? What have you been up to? Is there any food at this party that you'd recommend me trying? And if I can't come up with a question, you already know I'll be freaking out like, oh my gosh, what's the next question I'm gonna ask? Like, what if there's an awkward silence? Oh gosh, I already feel like my anxiety rising. It was so funny because yesterday I asked Alan, I was like, Alan, do I come off really different in public than I am in private? He was like, yeah. And he shared with me that sometimes when we're hanging out with another group of people, especially if they're like not as close with us, he like doesn't know how to interact with me, because as I'm talking to them in that like super enthusiastic way and I like talk to him, he kind of feels like I'm like some stranger, like, who is this girl? Like so intense, so enthusiastic. I'm so different out in public that even my husband is like having a hard time interacting with me. I definitely think that we can get to a place where we are just so secure in ourselves, so sure of who we are, that we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to appear a certain way to gain the approval or affections of other people. We can just be ourselves. And if people don't like it or people judge us, like, oh well, you know? I want to get to a place where I can be like, oh well, you hate me? Oh well. Oh, you like me? That's cool, but that's not gonna make me feel like better about myself or something, you know? I just wanna get there where I can genuinely be myself, and I'll have so much more genuine love to give to people, because I won't love because it makes me look like a loving person, but I'll love simply because I want to love. When I say something or express something, I want people to be confident and trust that I'm saying it because I genuinely mean it, not because I'm trying to come off a certain way, right? It's just like, now when I really think about it, it's like, why do I choose to live life in such a fake way when I could have the option to live it so much more authentically? I think that was just like some protective coping mechanism for me, right? To keep myself safe from the perceived dangers and criticisms of others, but now I just have to remind myself, I'm safe. We're safe. You and I are absolutely safe. We are okay here. My therapist always reminds me in moments of anxiety to just kind of look around me, kind of like hug myself a little, look at my surroundings, and just remind myself, I'm safe. I don't need to be anxious right now. I don't need to be self-protective. No one's gonna make me feel less about myself. No one's going to make me feel less worthy. And yeah, if someone decides to say something mean about us and it's not constructive or anything, it's just simply rude and inconsiderate, then that's not a representation of our worth. That doesn't make us any less valuable. That's just on them. That's a representation of where they're at. I just want to thank you again for being on this self-love journey with me. It's been quite the journey so far. I feel like I've learned so much about myself, and I've overcome some barriers that I've really held on to for a really long time, and I really hope that you can let go of some of those barriers as well and move forward into a healthier, more confident way of thinking and being. If there's anything in particular that really resonated with you today, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below or through an Instagram DM. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.